Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ready for part 2 of 3 today? Remember, today as we kick off the new year, we're doing 3 chapters of Deuteronomy, 2 tomorrow, and then a chapter every day for the rest of the month. So today in chapter 2, let's go to Lord in prayer. Father God, thank you for this day. We give you thanks and praise for a new day and a new year. It's always right to give you thanks and praise each and every day of our lives, for you are wholly worthy, totally worthy of our thanks and praise. Thanks for waking us up this morning. Thanks for giving us the breath of life. Thanks for the good food and drink that we enjoy and the shelter that we have. Thanks for beautiful weather. Thanks for the opportunity to fellowship later today among our brothers and sisters or tomorrow. Okay, well, we are in chapter 2. Moses recalls the desert years. Without further ado, let's get right into the reading.
Then we turned and journeyed into the wilderness in the direction of the Red Sea, as the Lord told me. And for many days we traveled around Mount Seir. Then the Lord said to me, "You have been traveling around this mountain country long enough. Turn northward and command the people. You are about to pass through the territory of your brothers, the people of Esau, who live in Seir, and they will be afraid of you. So be very careful. Do not contend with them, for I will not give you any of their land, no, not so much as for the sole of the foot to tread on, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau as a possession. You shall purchase food from them with money, that you may eat, and you shall also buy water from them with money, that you may drink. For the Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hands. He knows you're going through this great wilderness. These 40 years the Lord your God has been with you. You have lacked nothing." So we went on, away from our brothers, the people of Esau, who live in Seir, away from the Arabah road, from Elath and Ezion-Geber. And we turned and went in the direction of the wilderness of Moab. And the Lord said to me, "Do not harass Moab or contend with them in battle, for I will not give you any of their land for a possession, because I have given Ar to the people of Lot for a possession. The Emim formerly lived there, a people great and many, and tall as the Anakim. Like the Anakim, they are also counted as Rephaim, but the Moabites call them Emim. The Horites also lived in Seir formerly, but the people of Esau dispossessed them and destroyed them from before them, and settled in their place, as Israel did to the land of their possession, which the Lord gave to them. Now rise up and go over the brook Zered." So we went over the brook Zered, and the time from our leaving Kadesh Barnea until we crossed the brook Zered was 38 years, until the entire generation, that is, the men of war, had perished from the camp, as the Lord had sworn to them. For indeed the hand of the Lord was against them, to destroy them from the camp until they had perished. So as soon as all the men of war had perished and were dead from among the people, the Lord said to me, "Today you are to cross the border of Moab at Ar. And when you approach the territory of the people of Ammon, do not harass them or contend with them, for I will not give you any of the land of the people of Ammon as a possession, because I have given it to the sons of Lot for a possession. It is also counted as a land of Rephaim. Rephaim formerly lived there, but the Ammonites called them Zamzummim, a people great and many, and tall as the Anakim.
Say that fast
But the
3
Lord
times.
destroyed them before the Ammonites, and they dispossessed them and settled in their place, as he did for the people of Esau who live in Seir, when he destroyed the Horites before them, and they dispossessed them and settled in their place even to this day. As for the Avim who lived in the villages as far as Gaza, the Caphtorim who came from Caphtor destroyed them and settled in their place. Rise up, set out on your journey, and go over the valley of the Arnon. Behold, I have given into your hand Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to take possession and contend with him in battle. This day I will begin to put the dread and fear of you on the peoples who are under the whole heaven, who shall hear the report of you, and shall tremble and be in anguish because of you.
Respect Israel.
So I sent messengers from the wilderness of Kedemoth to Sihon the king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, "Let me pass through your land. I will go only by the road. I will turn aside neither to the right nor to the left." You shall sell me food for money that I may eat, and give me water for money that I may drink. Only let me pass through on foot, as the sons of Esau who live in Seir and the Moabites who live in Ar did for me, until I go over the Jordan into the land that the Lord our God is giving to us. But Sihon the king of Heshbon would not let us pass by him, for the Lord your God hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might give him into your hand as he is this day. And the Lord said to me, Behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land over to you. Begin to take possession, that you may occupy his land. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to battle at Jahaz. And the Lord our God gave him over to us, and we defeated him and his sons and all his people. And we captured all his cities at that time, and devoted to destruction every city, men, women, and children. We left no survivors. Only the livestock we took as spoil for ourselves, with the plunder of the cities that we captured. From Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and from the city that is in the valley as far as Gilead, there was not a city too high for us. The Lord our God gave all into our hands. Only to the land of the sons of Ammon you did not draw near, that is, to all the banks of the river Jabbok, and the cities of the hill country, whatever the Lord our God had forbidden us.
And that is the end of Deuteronomy 2. Now, again, Moses remembers the desert years. It's kind of like those who remember the movie Hootch with Tom Hanks. Yeah, some places in the Tom Hanks' new home, adopting Hootch, was not to be his place. The descendants of Esau were distant relatives of the people of Israel. 400 years earlier, the brother of Jacob was Esau. God did not want Israel to take that land that he gave to Esau and his descendants, the Edomites. Edom was a nickname for Esau. Perhaps the most famous Edomite in the New Testament was Herod the Great, the king of the Jews during the birth of Jesus and prior to. The Moabites were also a distant relative to Israel. They descended from Lot, who was the nephew of Abraham. And as with Edom, God did not want Israel to harass Moab, nor contend with them in battle. Their land was not the land God intended to give to Israel. One of the more famous Moabites in the Bible was Ruth. She was a Moabite woman who married an Israelite man named Boaz and became grandmother to King David and one of the ancestors of the Messiah. The Moabites were of note because they defeated a Canaanite people known to them as Edom, who were the large, fearsome race known as the Anakim. Now, those who know what Anakim means, it's a Hebrew word for Rephaim, and that meant giants, the fearsome ones. It's kind of like the Dodgers going up against the San Francisco Giants this year, winning over 100 games. Giants, fearsome. So the Rephaim was a group of large, warlike people who populated Canaan before the Israelites in the area east of the Jordan River, and they were known by many names. The Moabites called them Edom, and the Ammonites called them Zamzummim. Like I said, say that fast 3 times. Sihon, the king of Heshbon, would not let Israel pass through. Now, had he let them pass through, maybe nobody would have bothered him, but because of this refusal, Israel fought a battle recorded in Numbers 21. They simply asked for safe passage through the land of the Amorites, but they refused. For Joshua and Caleb, and maybe some of the older youngins, a flashback to Egypt, like Pharaoh. So the Lord God hardened his spirit and made him obstinate, that he might deliver them into your hand. God worked behind the scenes in hardening the heart of Sihon, the king of the Amorites. It was right for God to do this because the Creator has the right to do whatever he pleases with his creatures. But it is also right because of the way God did this. God did not want to persuade a reluctant Sihon to go out against Israel. God simply let Sihon's heart take the evil way it wanted to take. God did not change Sihon's heart. from good to bad, but hardened it in its malice toward Israel, that he might deliver them into your hand. This explains why God hardened the heart of Sihon, because God led Sihon into the destructive course that hardened his heart, desired so that the land of the Amorites would become the possession of the inheritance of Israel. Utterly destroyed the men and the women and the little ones of every city, leaving no one remaining. The war against the Amorites was one of the unique wars of judgment God told Israel to fight. In it, Israel was not just to defeat the Amorites on the field of battle, but to bring judgment against their whole society. Destroy sin always, all of it. Don't leave any of it. It is cancerous. There was not one city too strong for us. You know, when the Lord's with you, that's a true statement. You can do anything through Christ who strengthens you. Now, 38 years before, despite approximately the same number of people and army, Israel refused to go into the promised land because they were felt overmatched militarily. Now, when they began to enter the land by faith, God showed them how it could have been 38 years before if they had only believed him. There was not one city too strong for us. There's not one city too high for us. The high walls of the Canaanites had intimidated Israel 38 years before. But walking in faith, they were now nothing before the Lord. So 2.53 million people. And Israel could have walked in and taken Esau, the Edomites. They could have walked in and taken the Moabites, but that wasn't God's plan for them. And it's funny because they were more powerful even back then. But when listening to the Lord, they did have an inheritance. And even though they had to fight for it, it was really to purge or cleanse the land of the undesirables who wanted to keep sinning in their own ways. Well, that's the end of chapter 2. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned, perhaps, for a song of the day, and then part 3, maybe later on today, Deuteronomy. And Cafe Jesus, the Daily Word. Thanks for tuning in. Tell a friend. Hit subscribe. Join us daily. And comment. Thanks. Have a great day.